Hello, hello. Hoping anybody who is in here at the moment can hear me. Welcome to race 5 of Hut's Gaming League season. We are today in Paul Ricard. Quite a few people in the practice already, so I'm hoping a few more just before the race. We have a quite stacked grid for this race, which hopefully proves to be quite exciting. With being with the bad reputation of Paul Ricard, hoping our drivers can make something different of that. So, welcome to people. Hopefully, some people have never been here. Welcome to the people that are here every week. Go through the standings from the last race. So, Ferry Schroeder has quite a big lead now in P1. So he remains there and has been there for the past few weeks, followed by Cody Maverick, it's Mikolai, but I can't say the second name, guys. I can't do it. I'm not good at it. So we just call him Cody Maverick. Right? And then we got P3 Martin Varga, and then fourth is Grezhik. Fifth, Jordan Lake. Angel, who's had a pretty poor race last race. I think he spun a few times at Zandvoort, which has led him to drop down a few positions now as he had to retire the race. So he's come from, I think it was like top 3 now into P6 in the standings, which means it's everybody's game now. It's anybody's to win. Or at least get into second or third. They've got Schroeder to get past first for that top spot. But yeah, following Angel is Marco Esposito, followed by Russell Matheson in 8th, Harry Tuominen in 9th, and we got Schloik in 10th, and followed by the other 10 of Malaya, Puki, Radek, Vojanovic, Hackinson, Sidel, Fabrizio, Isailovic, Penix, and Sherlock. I think Sherlock will not be making this race either, unfortunately, if I've heard correctly. So, unfortunately, we might see Sherlock knocked off that top sweaty spot. And we might see somebody else there next week, hopefully. So, we'll see. I say maybe not so, hopefully. Sorry, Sherlock. But, maybe we'll see someone there next week after race 5. And just got me some water, so I might be taking a few sips. It's a bit warm in this room today, so a bit thirsty work this. Yeah, got about 2 minutes of practice left, just less than that, and then the qualifying will be underway. So we should be able to start the qualifying commentary, so to speak, there. And like I said, I'm hoping for a good race anyway. I think looking at the gap disparity between these different races, it's looking competitive. We excite you all 4 of you, but it's looking competitive. It's looking alright. So hopefully, we have a different top 3 maybe this race. Maybe. I know some cars do a lot better than others. So, it's all about which car. I mean, maybe not all about which car you're driving, but I think a lot of it will come down to that the famous Paul Ricard straight line, which is me personally I find quite boring, but I feel like it's going to give some drivers a big advantage going down there, as opposed to the other ones. Ooh. Right, and in 10 seconds this should be switching over, and we'll get ready for that in a second. I'll wait for it to switch to qualifying before we do it, because I know we've got to mess around a bit. You got about 3 minutes for him to finish the laps, unfortunately. I always forget about that. And let me see if everything is just underway here. Thankfully, there won't be any sort of electronics board up or anything like that today, so we should have a bit of a smoother looking stream, thankfully. I think there's a cool little graphic that I saw the other day which I thought looked pretty good. Like, get out this one, and that's not that. Maybe it's that one.
Green line, give it all you got.
Alright, I'm gonna switch this over now, guys. On to the qualifying. Wow. Wow. Give it a second, it should switch. There we go. Oh, it seems to take a little while, don't know why. Let me switch you off there. Alright, alright, alright. Let's see. Basic. I don't know which one you guys might like here in terms of a setting to see things. You got map. Well, obviously not map. You got basic. No, you got basic. Or you got BC. I kind of like BC. It's kind of new, so I'm going to stick with this one for the time being. You got Varga, who has come out first, number 86 in the Ferrari. So he will be the first one to give us a lap of reference, and I think Varga was one of the quickest around this track and was one of the quickest in a few previous races, especially Zandvoort, until the I think it was a mistake he made on Zandvoort, which cost him a few positions, or did he keep it? Or was it somebody else? Maybe it was somebody else. I feel like Varga might have been the one actually to win that. And my memory's hazy. It's very blurred. It all kind of smushes into one. But regardless, I know Varga has he's very good pace. He's one of the top racers for sure. So I imagine his time will be the one to beat on this track at the moment. So we are just going to get underway for this race, well, qualifying. So Martin Varga starts with the first hot lap around here. And, you know, you are looking for around probably to set a good lap anyway around here. But 154 is your decent times. 155, I think you're going to be feeling around in the mid pack, and any slower, I think you'll be at the back. So I think the target for majority of drivers around here will possibly be around 155s, and you know, the highest you can get 154 to be fighting for a potential podium. As you see a few cars off track, just letting these hot lappers go through. Varga leads the way, needs a charge. I wonder if he's close enough to get a tow off car 888 here. He will be a Sailovic, be a 23rd driver. He comes down the long straight. Little tap of the brake here, usually. Fly around here as fast as you can. Takes a little bit of the one of the boards away with him there. Just goes absolutely flying into a crowd member. It's a final destination situation. As he comes through the fast right, you got to take a bit of a strange line into that one. Not the line that is usually suggested. I think mine usually you get a bit of a brake a bit later than what's suggested there, and you just bring it round. Put the on the last couple of corners. Now drop into first, bring it round for more rotation, accelerate as soon as the car wheel opens up. Down the straight, and Varga does a time of 153.9. So this was saying he is going to be definitely the person to beat, as Cody only puts a 155.2 and Grezik knocks him off P2 with a 154.3. So Grezik there holding the front row as Fusion puts his Lexus into P3, but then Schroeder comes through with a 154.3 and he goes P3 instead, as LaRocca comes over into P6, Big 6 following with a 156.6 into 7th place in the Nissan. The Schloick behind at 6 with a 157, as Varga still holds P1 effectively, and he's 2 tenths up on his lap at the moment now, as Bellini comes across with a 157.3, taking 11th spot. He did not manage to get a lap off, or at least maybe did his laps, as Matheson takes P2 with a 154.1, and there's a 2 tenths difference between them two drivers. So Varga still holding P1 currently. It looks like he's getting a little bit slipstream there, maybe. Oh, I wonder if he's close enough. I'm not sure, but he is 10th up on his lap. He's got to keep it together to solidify P1 for himself. And so, for the first time in a while, we don't see Schroeder in a provisional pole, which would be the first time for a while, as we have a few people finishing up a few laps. Jordan Lake puts himself into P5 with a 154.5. Just a quick time. Oh, hello. How you doing, buddy? Oh, I'll check what that was. As I have unfortunately missed that. Pinto Gaming, thank you for the follow, Pinto. Appreciate that massively, buddy. Welcome to Huts Gaming League. I hope you enjoy the commentary. Hope you enjoy the stay. I don't know if you're in the Discord already, but if you aren't, please join. It'd be awesome. If you drive, join the season. That'd be even better. Schroeder, as we were saying, he wasn't on provisional pole, has now just done a 153.8 in the tricky Honda, which is a bit of a hard car to drive on this track. With a slippy back end, you've got to be really good on the brakes to not basically unsettle the car too much around some of these very extremely fast corners. As we just see a back end come flying out from Big Six, who's took a spin in the first 2 corners. And so he's not going to improve his lap this time as he jumps back into the pits. And Varga now has been placed into P2, but he's 2 tenths up on his lap, which will place him back into provisional pole. Although Schroeder, if he just manages to keep it together. So I take a little quick sippy. Ooh. Still 2 tenths. Got the fast right. Drops down. I think it goes quite wide there, but gives him more to turn into. He improves his time massively, but it looks as if maybe he's just gone off track. I don't know if that was... Yeah, it's invalidated. Unfortunately for Varga, he was 3 turns up, but the lap has been invalidated. So now Schroeder has a little bit of breathing room. He's got 7 minutes left yet to either improve his own time, or just hope nobody else improves theirs, as Matheson doesn't look like he's improving his massively at the moment, as he's just under a tenth of improving, and he would have to at least get maybe 2 tenths, 3 tenths to put himself into P1, as Gredrick holds P4 the second row. Fusion goes into P5, and we've seen these faster times coming out as Jordan Lake's gone from P5 to P10 now, as Fusion pushed him off. Cody has put himself into P6. Pookie in the disgusting Buzz Lightyear Bentley has put himself into P7, and Paul Ricard, who I've not seen maybe I have. I don't recognise the name too much, but he's in PA regardless. I imagine that's probably not the livery he's chose either. But, yeah, it looks kind of cool all the same. Stalevich in P9. Yeah, the speed of the Honda is quick, but it's not even close to the likes of the Nissan, and I think the Ford Mustang got this on the straight, so that's actually quite ridiculous as well. Angel Jovanovski. And so we were talking about the Honda being a tricky car to drive around Paul Ricard, and if this doesn't show how tricky it is, we've seen Angel, who's usually a podium place driver, in P11 at the moment, just way down the board. Paul Ricard just not being his track at the moment. Maybe down to setup, maybe it's down to just maybe not enjoying the track whatsoever. I suppose at this point we won't know until later, as Schroeder still holds P1. Martin Varga on his lap, and he's again free. Oh, drops back down to 2 tenths up. He's got the last 2 corners. Will it be enough to put himself into P1. He takes a bit of curb, might unsettle the car a little bit as he gets onto this straight. It doesn't, he improves. He's losing a bit of time. He gets to 3 tenths, and that's Varga onto provisional pole. He knocks Schroeder down a pegger there, and now Schroeder will have to come back and improve himself by at least 2 tenths now to take Varga off a top spot. But currently, Schroeder has an invalidated lap. This lap won't count towards anything, unfortunately. So he'll have to go around now, put in another one. Hopefully he'll have to be just as quick as the one Varga put out. As Matheson moves up the board into P3, and Polomeni goes into P4 too, as Gresham holds into P5. Jordan Lake improved from P10 into P6 with a 154.1. 53.6 is definitely not slow. 100% not slow. No. I think anything slow here is like 155. Like, you ideally want to be in the 154s. That's where the opportunity for a race win might come. Hello, Malcolm. Welcome, buddy. It's good to see you, buddy. I think Varga's invalidated his lap, so he won't be improving on the one he's done. As these guys cut a bit of the corner to give themselves a bit of time there. I'm not sure if they're avoiding somebody or cutting the track to cut off a bit of time to the next lap. As Schroeder, I'm trying to think where he is on this map right now. He's not improving because this lap has also been invalidated, so it says. As Matheson pulls up in P3, there's a lot of weird stuff going on here. I feel like there might have been a mistake there, I'm not sure. As Polomeni is in P4, Pookie goes up into P6. He knocks Jordan Lake off there, and he drops down to P7 as he starts his next qualifying lap. Asedovic P8, Fusion dropping drastically down the board into P9. As the track just seems to get faster and faster and faster as we draw out of this this qualifying. I don't know what's with today, but I'm a real thirsty boy. And in terms of, we've actually got 27 people racing today. So, at least if we're going off this commentary, as I was saying, Sherlock couldn't make it. Here he is. He's actually managed to find his way back. He's in the race. Sherlock might not be put off P20. However, he's got a very short time to put in a lap and put himself up the board to put himself in contention of some points. As Surtee could be taking potentially donkey of the day already, with just being at the back. I feel like ACC is not so much Surtee's game, as he's much better in other racing sims, but in terms of this one, he's quite far behind, unfortunately. I like to think it with the car. Unfortunately, our rules do state that you must remain within the car or lose your points. Regardless, we'll go back to P1 because this is where it's most important at the moment. With 2 minutes left to qualifying, Varga still holds P1. Hello, Bellini. You should be qualifying, man. Get back into the qualifying. You got to improve. Schroeder still just unfortunately for Schroeder. I think he just keeps invalidating on the first couple of corners of a new lap. So every time he starts one, it's just been validated. It's just basically just putting him into a bad position. He's got to now get around this track in below 1 minute and 40 seconds to get another lap going. So he's really got to put the pedal to the metal now. Get down there, cross that line to get another lap in if he's got any chance of taking pole. Oh, hello, Bonker. How you doing, man? God, it's good to see you all in here, man. It's nice to have people chatting. So welcome, Bonker, buddy. So if we're going over it again, Varga, P1, Schroeder, he's got a minute to get over the line for his next lap. And Varga will be doing the same. So Varga's got to set a new lap. Schroeder's going to be setting a new lap. Matheson's in the pits. He is done now. That'll be Matheson. He won't be improving his time. He sits in P3, so he is now a sitting duck for these other drivers to take positions off of him, as he won't be doing another lap now as Polomeni comes around, but he's not improving on his lap. He is 2/10 down on his best, despite the improving race conditions. As Gresic is 1/2 on his. Pookie has now given up on doing a new lap. So he's in P6. He sits there as Jordan Lake has a few more corners. Will it be enough to take Pookie off a P6? And I don't think it will be. No, fortunately for Jordan Lake, he remains P7 and just cannot take. Oh, that being said, he does have another lap. He does have another. We'll get back to Jordan Lake soon, as he will be doing another lap to take, hopefully, at least on his regard, to take Pookie from there. As Varga is improving, Schroeder is improving massively in these early few corners, and like I say, he's still got a full racetrack to go. And we'll switch back to him in a second as Esposito comes around the last. No, it's not the last few corners, is it? It's not the last few corners, Vic. It is not that. However, up a 10th, which won't be enough to take Angel off of P11, so he's got to massively improve here. If he wants any chance to take him off there, as yeah, as Varga is improving his lap. This makes it very tricky for Schroeder. In the last corner, Varga 3/10 up on his lap. 2/10 he dropped down. He just messed up a little bit on that back corner, and I think it was just a lack of acceleration coming from the car. But he improves all the same. And he puts himself to 153.4, and Schroeder, he's given up. So Varga is our top qualifier. He will be leading the race. So well done to Varga for taking P1. Schroeder will go into P2 at that weird camera angle. Matheson P3 in the second row with Polomeni. Gresic will be P5. Van Bunker P6. P7. Oh, yeah, got to do this annoying thing, don't I? Where when it lets me. That is. Give me a sec. I think that's worked. There we go. Jordan Lake will be P8. Sailovic P9, Cody Maverick P10, Angel. Can we get a cool, better kind of camera for this? Bumper interior, bonnet, driver, wing, passenger. God, there just isn't one, is there? Really? Unless we do. But yeah, Esposito P12, P13. I'm gonna call you M, because there is no way in God's hell am I able to pronounce that name. P14 Tomanen, P15 Fabrizio, P16 will be Camp. Strange name. P17 Hackinson, P18 Big Six, Mr. Big Qualified, Mr. Super Fast in P18, LaRocca P19, Schlowick P20, Penix is P21, Big Champion P22. That's the teammate of Big Six. Bellini, who was typing in this chat, is P23. Maybe could have improved that had you not been typing in this here stream. Rizzo P24, Brains P25, Surrey P26, oof. And P27 was the late comer qualifier. Yeah, P27. So 27 drivers in this race, guys, which is it's quite impressive, isn't it? 27 drivers. I think that's I feel like it might be the most we've had this season so far, if not matching. So a big turnout for Paul Ricard, which is quite surprising considering all the negativity around it before the race start. So, or before race day, should I say? Oh, as now the drivers will be doing their setups. Big stretch. Oh, I don't know why I'm stretching. It's not as if I'm doing anything physical here, apart from sat down drinking water. Wish I had some snacks. That would have been made it a bit nicer. What's going on? Oh yeah. So an hour of Paul Ricard any takers on who the winner might be, as we do have the usual of Varga and Schroeder up top. Matheson not had the best luck in a few of these races, but in terms of speed, is definitely up there for a potential win. Same, I don't remember Paul Ricard. I feel like he's new to this race, but he's doing very well. He's placed himself into the second row, so he's in P4. So I'm hoping for a massive surprise from Paul Ricard. It's always nice to have new drivers who are just as quick as the older ones that have been here for a while. And I always find Pookie. I don't know why I always think Pookie is a dark horse or Van Bunker from what you guys would see. It's not been he's not been an ACC race winner, but I always tend to just want to place him really high up the board. He is one of the more consistent drivers. You don't often see mistakes made by him, so. And consistency does win your races. It really does. It's usually what I base my whole race off. A bit of consistency. As the terrible ACC lineup system is underway for the formation lap. How many bets and people spin out at turn 8 and 9? Yeah, you go a few wide there, might be a problem. Cold tyres. I'm sure there will be. I've no doubt in my mind that there probably will be a few mistakes made. For sure. But hey man, we've had some good few last races. They've not been awful in terms of crashes. I know somebody's videos would highlight differently, but otherwise, they've not been bad. I feel like we've done pretty well. Especially on some of the corners that they've had to take. So, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully we don't see much, and hopefully, the more drivers, the more scary this gets, and Varga just decides to take a whole different line around there. And I'm not sure what's just happened there. We took we took the chicane line. As the drivers plod along down the long straight. A few more corners left before the race is underway. As you see them just warming the tyres up, which will be super important coming into these coming to this first lap anyway. You need to get your tyres up to scratch. Make sure you're not accidentally spinning out, trying to take that car on the same line you usually do in the same pace. As we do have a 985 Bellini starting from the pits. And I can't help, maybe something happened during the formation, which is probably put him in that position. So he will be starting from the pits. Puts him at a major disadvantage, but maybe it's an advantage if a massive crash happens. So I think that's maybe where Bully might be thinking. Did James may have forgot where the track goes. He's going on to the west. Yeah, big brains. That's what he's doing. Hey man, if there's a crash around the first corner and Bellini takes 10 spots from it, then what? Then we'd be talking about how much of a genius he actually is. As we come around now, all the cars will be getting into position to start the race, the 5th race of Hux Gaming League around Paul Ricard. Schroeder gets in position there on the inside, but now Varga will be on the inside of this first corner. And it's all down to the start here. If Schroeder can somehow put himself at the start, we're about to get underway. As he lights out, away we go, and the race is underway. And Paul Ricard, as Varga gets off to a great start, leaves Schroeder in the Oh, he doesn't even does that straight line speed. Schroeder just coming alongside. He looks to go around the outside. Varga holds it tight. Schroeder slots in behind. We've seen a few switch of positions. Jordan Lake takes the inside. Fusion around the outside with a bit more grip. Pookie drops down a few positions as Grezhik moves up into P4. And Polyman sits behind it. Polyman's dropped down behind Grezhik. So he's took that spot. Fusion goes into P6. As Cody Maverick makes his way up a few positions into P7 now around this tight corner as it gets a bit scrappy. There's a few bit door-to-door, but oh, and a few spins and a few bumps, and it's sent a few people trying, but I don't think anything crazy happened there. Apart from a few turning over. As it gets scrappy, he's getting a cert, he goes round. Don't reverse onto the track, buddy. Jabba goes completely wide. And Varga holds the lead after that crazy. Schroeder's just getting the slipstream. Gets alongside. Will he take it around the outside of here? I can't imagine it. So he holds it up. Varga's trying to... Oh, Schroeder just going off the track a bit. Battle of the late breakers. Who can do it? Can Schroeder put it on the outside? Maybe the old switcheroo on board. No, Varga holds it well. And slops himself back into P1. But he's under pressure. Schroeder just slips a little bit off track. But there'd be no penalty there. I can't imagine as Mafson holds it behind Schroeder. A nice little line now as the positions begin to form. And after that first crazy lap, Fusion into P6. Cody Maverick followed by Pookie, who dropped down a few spots in P7 and 8. Jordan Lake, who dropped down the field as well with his little bit of a bump with other drivers. And he's back down to P9 as M follows behind to P10, Esposito P11, Camp goes down to P12, Fabrizio P13, Sherlock coming all the way from the back to P14. You know, what a lap one for this man. And we were talking about him potentially being knocked off P20, but well, maybe not now. As Jabba he's in P15. I think that's improvement. As he goes a bit off the track there, he snaps and he just saves it. And cuts cut the corner. He might want to give that back to Angel. I feel like Angel might have got that, but he dropped down to P16, which is horrendous for the likes of Angel. He's usually one of our top runners. Rocker. Yeah, so Jabba allows Angel to go through there. As that was the position. A Schlock Luke gets a little bit of a back end slapper. And we were talking about Bellini earlier, getting advantage from starting from the pits. And he makes two positions as look who is in near to last place with a wrecked car. And it's Mr. Practice. Oh dear. A car is absolutely ruined. He's going to have to take an early pit. He's going to have to. There's no way. As we've come back to Varga. And Schroeder still fighting for that P1 position. As these cars just firing it round that fast right. No, it doesn't first sector here at all at GTI. It doesn't really first sector anywhere, does it? It will down that straight line though. If he managed to pull a lap together, it'd be a dangerous car to go against. As Varga still holds P1, as we do have Angel who's gone round and he's dropping down the positions. And it's just allowing everybody else to go past as he drops into the bottom 20. Absolutely unheard of. And now he's even got the likes of Surrey behind him as Brains goes up a position. Let's go back to... Yeah, I can't pronounce that name. He could be called M. Well, if it is Mickey, I'll call him Mickey. But I don't know if that's his name or not. So Schroeder just looking behind, just lurking. Waiting for that one opportunity to take what he thinks is his rightful position on the track. With Mafson following closely behind as Polymeni looks to just defend that from Grezhik as he's took that position back. And Grezhik with a bit of door bashing there. Takes that position. Will Polymeni come back? He doesn't, but he slips behind for the slipstream. And we have ourselves a little train there. Fusion sweating a little bit at this little fight, but that fast, look how fast that is in a straight line. The Lexus absolutely flying. Grezhik being left stranded, and I don't think you can do that. That was a bit dirty. As Polymeni now slips behind Fusion. Will he go around the outside? door-to-door again. Fusion, look, oh, he gets out of this Gresham goes sliding off, and he just knew it was going to happen. He goes back onto the track, and I don't think he doesn't mean to. I just think the car just slowly, but Pookie with lightning reactions managed to just avoid it and stay on the track. But now the tyres of that McLaren are going to be in all out of shape. So every corner now will be a dice roll. You have to be just a little bit careful whilst those tyres cool back down, and you can get back on these race back underway again after that little door-to-door there with Fusion. As Matheson has found a way into P2, and we've missed a crucial overtake. Ty, I'm not doing that now. That's crazy. Schroeder looks on the inside of Matheson. Can he do it? Matheson's on the inside lane now as he switch over, and he just holds that position. And whilst these two fight, Varga has found an opportunity to make a bit of a second gap here, and they've even now got to work together to keep up with Varga there, because it's not someone you could just lose out in front. He's consistent, he's fast, and if you let him get too much of a lead, you won't get it back. But the Ferrari seems to be doing really well around this track, as it is our top two cars. Slot behind. I've seen Jordan Lake with a big train behind him. I'm trying to get a better view of it. You can just see a little bit of a train behind. All quite close to one another. As back to Matheson, as Schroeder looks to go around the outside on this straight line. Can he do it? Can he hang it in there? Oh, he's back in goes, and that's Schroeder and Matheson. And this is what we were talking about when we talk about the Honda just slipping out. You've got to be so careful, and especially if you go too wide on that corner, you will not be able to hang it, as Matheson just bullies Fusion from that P2 spot. And a bit of argy-bargy to just remain, and he was lucky to keep it with that contact and Schroeder's mistake. Unfortunately for Schroeder, he will now be having to make a lot of positions as he slipped all the way back down to P10. And he's made it hard for himself with that potential attempt of an overtake, as my Varga takes a massive lead now of 3.6 seconds. And within 8 minutes of this race, it all but looks over, as my Varga not only the leader, but holding the fastest lap on track at the moment, 1:54.4. So now he'll be the man to beat, and just got to make this gap a little bit bigger for himself. He can put this into a little cruise mode, especially with his pace. As Matheson still holds P2, followed by Fusion, Polomeni, Gregic just fighting with Cody. He's just sniffing the back of his bumper. Will he go for it? Down the straight. This guy's bump drafting. It's a bit of teamwork from Gregic and Cody as they push towards the cars in front, and I've never seen it on ACC before. And I think Jordan Lake might be doing the same to Pookie just to get down that straight. As Pookie, the Bentley, what a crazy car. We don't see this often, a Bentley driving, but well done Pookie to be the one to take the hit for everyone, the mean car. As he holds P5, as Schroeder makes the move on Esposito, as he has to charge back upfield to take a podium spot back for himself after that mistake he made around that corner. And I think that was a lesson learned of where the limits of that car were around that corner. Oh, 6. Welcome back, buddy. Fusion and Polymeni. Look, I'm just going to see what happened there. I feel like something just kind of happened here. I'm just going to wind us back a few seconds as we look. And I don't think it's going to be long enough. I just want to see if we can spot anything here. Maybe Fusion just goes for that attack there. Yeah, we did see how well we come back, and Fusion has found himself back into P2. What is happening? I missed a vital thing trying to have a little doozy. I'm going to switch this around here. I just want to see What is going on in this race? I feel like we're missing stuff, but I'm just going to pop back here now. I'm just going to take this to 30. Fusion goes, takes a slipstream. Matheson left stranded on this straight as this Lexus just powers down the straight with all the speed, and he just slots into that P2 there. What an overtake that is by Fusion. Bullies his way into that position, and that was a fantastic overtake as we get back to the race with Varga with a 6.3 second lead. So he's improved 3 seconds 3 seconds since the last lap. And I think obviously with Varga's pace, it was 100% down to the pace and his skill. 100%. Ooh, back end little slap there, but he holds on to it. But the battling for the podium spots is where he's truly making all this pace. So the more he's fight behind, as Jordan Lake looks in the inside of Polymeni, can he hang it in there? And he does, as Polymeni has to surrender that position to Jordan Lake. And what an overtake around that corner that was, as Gresic looks on the inside, and will he take a different line to do it? And we were talking about Paul Ricard potentially being a boring race, but right now this has been absolutely fantastic. I cannot, I was not expecting this sort of excitement, as we have Sherlock, who looks as if he's had a spin. He's missed that. He's gone down a few positions. As Bellini takes, and City takes brains off of P22 as he slots back in. An Angel, and you've got like a little back marker fight here going on. The desperate fight for P20, which I do think I'd see. There's fights all over the circuit at the moment as Matheson goes to pit, and I'm wondering, yeah, there is a mandatory pit stop that you can take. So Matheson's taken his 13 minutes into this race, and I wonder what the strategy is there. It's just to go an extra 45 on them tyres. Is it damage? Could it have been that substantial for it to be for him to have to go now? I wonder where that damage came from. Maybe from Schroeder. Probably the crash from Schroeder. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that too. As Varga improves his lap. As Gresic. Polymeni just tussling it out here. With Gresic on the inside, is it? It's Polymeni on the inside. He takes that. Polymeni looking to take the different line, to take the position. And what a race we have here. And what an overtake as Polymeni takes it back from Gresic. And Schroeder just sitting behind as Jabba has a bit of a slip, I think. Oh, Polymeni's gone round. And Schroeder and Gresic take up them positions as Polymeni gets back on the track. Jabba goes off track too. Will he come on safely? He does. He's fine. Thank God for that. As Gresic, and this is the harshness of this close racing. All it takes is a little bit of bump from the other car, and you can find yourself way off the track, way out of position, as somebody comes into pit, and I think that is Schroeder coming into pit. So he's taking his early mandatory pit stop. There's Cody having a bit of a race here where he's capitalising mostly on the fights ahead as the gaps begin to widen a little bit, but not so much for the case of Big Jabber, Sailovic and LaRocca, who are all within close proximity of one another. As the Sailovic looks on the outside, he had a mistake early into this race. He takes the inside from Jabber. What an overtake from Sailovic there in these early corners of Paul Ricard, as M and Sherlock tussle out for P15. I'm sorry if you can hear vibrating. I have my phone going off. I can't do anything about that, unfortunately. But lonely race for Varga. 8 seconds ahead. Very clear. Cruise mode activated. Doesn't have to do too much, but we'll probably keep pushing for best laps. I mean, he does do another, I think his last lap was 154.1, so that was literally his last lap. He's improved the fastest time on track at the moment. As Jabba loses a couple more positions to Hackinson and LaRocca. Yeah, I would have thought, had it not been for the two mistakes from both Ferry and Matheson, I feel like, yeah, 100% they had the pace to stick up with Varga there. But hey, you never know what might happen. There still is a 44 minutes left of this race, so it's not completely over. Let's not be too pessimistic about that place. As we switch on to Slowick, who is being pursued by Sailovic. He hangs on the outside. Maybe a little switch or a different line here. Give it a bit of exit. And he does. He just slots in behind, just waiting for the opportunity to take it. Doesn't get a much better exit, but the attempt might be on as Slowick puts his car in the middle, making it difficult for Sailovic as he goes around the outside, but Sailovic then hangs it on the inside. But now the next corner is Slowick's, and he can defend that as Sailovic goes a little bit wide, and he has to back out a little bit and line this attempt back up. But where else better to do that than on this straight with all that slipstream just ahead of him. Ferrari dominance for both, but well, I mean, hey, listen, the one thing that we don't do here is we don't give all the attention to P1. We like to have a look at everyone's race, and so hopefully the other guys can keep it entertaining as Sailovic jumps into the slipstream of Slowick and naps P10 from Slowick in the Aston Martin. Espacio's not too far from Cody Maverick. He's still got Espacio in his wing mirrors as he looks to improve that gap away from any challenges. We've still got 40 minutes left of this race, and with all the action that we've had, you'd think you'd think it'd be done. As Sherlock drops a couple to Pennings, and it's quite far behind. The big gap between these are 3 seconds. I think Slowick might just lost it a little bit there. So he takes that position from Bellini. That's for P19. And Schroeder and Matheson have found themselves together at the back of the track after coming out the pits. So it was definitely damaged. They both come out at the same time. And so now, what could have been a charge to get those positions back has now turned into a race here for this position. P21. So, yeah, it's, I feel like if I was put in this position, I'd be pretty upset. You know, ideally you don't want to be battling someone. I think for the better choice for these two would be to work together. Maybe. As Adnan and Bellini scrap for P19 as Jabba down the straight takes P13 from Hackinson, and he's having quite a doozy of a race. Big Jabba. The new wheel, the new gamer seats made him a different man as Hackinson takes it back as he goes around the outside. Angel, who we don't often see behind it, just hanging around the back of Jabba. But he holds it well. Will Angel look on the inside? He doesn't. He's being patient. And unfortunately, Jabba's teammate Big Six was completely wiped out, so he is lacking a teammate on track today. As Varga now improves his lead on Fusion by 9 seconds, so the pace difference is quite staggering. Across the line now, 40 minutes left of this race, and unlucky for Angel, I can't see the opportunity of being able to take Jabba on the straight in that car. So we'll have to do it in the corners. Yeah, I was hoping that they would work together. I feel like it's probably the best option for them both. We go back to them now. Yeah, they're both still within close proximity to one another. But not quite setting the lap time that Varga managed to do in his Ferrari. As Sherlock goes to pit. And Fusion and Van Bonk, and we were saying Pukey earlier about taking a podium spot due to consistency in both pace and driving, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Not doesn't really win races, but the podium is definitely on for Pukey if he has the strategy down and the pace for it. As Jordan Lake sits behind both Fusion and Pukey by about 2 seconds. Greznik P5, Cody Maverick being pressured by the Esposito in the Porsche. No, Fusion's on a... I feel like he knew he was going to have a good race in that Lexus. I feel like this might be the only track that Lexus is it's actually somewhat decent, so I think for Fusion it's now or never in terms of big point. As Polomeni into P8 after his bit of an argy-bargy. Fusion has found himself quite far behind now. As Fabrizio in P9, Sailovic P10. Ooh, I should have made myself a coffee, really. And Schlowick P11, Rocker P12, Atkinson P13, Jabba, holding P14, Penix P15, and P16, Rizov P17, 30 still in the race in P18, with Bellini quite far behind now in 19th. Schroeder and Matheson have had their pits and are back on the charge for a potential podium spot, and with their pace and clean air at the moment, that might be possible. Sherlock P22 after his pit, Jovanovski and P23, and I don't know if that was a pit stop from Angel, maybe it was, as he slips. Oh, and that's hard to see. Just doesn't look like Angel's race today. As Brains P25 and 6 sits in the pits. And we're seeing a bit of a race form between Cody, Esposito and Polomeni as these races come close together now in a fight for P6. And we're holding on to the scraps of the early 20 minutes because those first 20 minutes was actually insanely exciting. Forza Rocker. Yeah, dude, he's not doing too bad. He's in P11. That's not bad a position at all. You get a good few points out of P11. Just go back to these now as Cody has to defend P6 from Esposito and Polomeni. And you just got to wonder, will he send it Esposito in the middle? He looks as if he wants to kind of sneak there, but any further in probably would have made contact. Where the exit's going to count. You can take a few different lines into a few of these hairpins or sharp corners, if you want to call them that. He doesn't take the attempt. He does look as if he might have had a better exit. As Polomini looks to undercut these two. Esposito looking on the inside, but that Nissan is so fast in the straight that the gap that wasn't there was created just on that small bit of straight they had there, which has allowed Covey to take that corner comfortably without any challenge. So Esposito will have to make this attempt within the corners, because it's definitely not something you're going to be able to do on a straight. Not against that car. Can I see how many track cuts? Have a look. Log. Not that. PB per day. Funnily enough, you can actually replay to contacts, which I wasn't aware of, which I think is pretty cool. The one that was 17 minutes, the last bit of contact. There's nothing here saying about a track point, but you do get a lot for possible contacts and contacts. So now I know that this is here. I could probably look at this little contact thing and see where that's at. That's pretty cool. Car disconnected, lap completed. Car disconnected. Yeah, I don't see anything about yeah. As Jordan Lakes just had a bit of a miss. Oh no, he goes into the pit. And a yellow flag popped up. I wonder if he just took a little bit of a bump into a wall. As we're getting to the halfway marker. I don't know why I'm watching Jordan Lake in the pit. My bad. As the gap between Fusion and Pookie has drastically collapsed. And now Pookie puts the pressure on Fusion massively. All the way from P7, I think Pookie started, and then now looking to take P2 from Fusion. And I wonder which car will be faster on the straight. I think that Bentley can just hold its own in terms of pace with the slipstream. He's catching up massively, and all the speed is there now for Pookie to take as they go side by side. As we take oh, he's had to back out. He's thought maybe a too wide might not be the best route to take. Let's both take sort of different lines into that. Pookie goes a bit wider, looking for the better exit to close the gap. Squeaky bum time now for Fusion. Can't put a foot wrong. Pookie will take every opportunity he can get. He's looking to... It looks like he's looking to try to fake out Fusion a bit. Make it look like he's going to lunge. And what that might do to Fusion is he might make Fusion break in a compromised position for then Pookie to react and have a nice little switcheroo with him. Look, he looks... Oh! No! Pookie, no! As he does respectfully wait for Fusion to get back on track. But what a little punterino from Pookie. And I feel like you got what you wanted there, Titan. You got what you wanted. But the race is back on between these two, and just allows Varga. He's in the pits now, but this just gives them the more and more advantage you could possibly want, unless something were to happen, because Varga will now be coming back out into the traffic, which is always a risk for a driver, as he comes back out now for his out lap from the pits. As Cody's still holding on to P3 from Esposito. I'm just gonna get a drink of water, guys. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Sorry, be back. Ooh. Them old man legs. I'm gonna sit down, it's pure pain. And Fusion goes to pit, looking to undercut Pookie, I think. And so I think Pookie next lap will want to come in and potentially just cover off that that undercut as best as he can. But the fight for P2 is underway, and this does give Pookie kind of a free air, clean air, to just try and set the best lap he can to hold out the potential loss of P2 that Fusion is looking to undercut for. As we have a few switching of positions with the pits being made, and seen a few people out of position and what their net position is. So for the likes of Varg, whose net position right now in terms of pits would be PUR. However, because not everyone's pit, it means that Varg will have to race past some other drivers to get that position back, or wait for them to have their pit stops. As now C goes into pit, Fusion is about to come out, and so now, oh, bit of argy-bargy there at the back between Sherlock and Jabba. And you know what we could do here? We could probably look at how that went down. Is he number 2? Yeah, we can look and have a look at this. Here we go. Oh, Jabba goes wide, comes back onto the track. Sherlock's there, takes a fat punt from Jabba, and somehow he managed to survive. And that coming back onto track like that, I would I would argue might be a penalty within itself. Tinky Winky, yeah, Tinky Winky might be the might be the name to use, to be honest. As now Cody comes out into the traffic of Cody and just has to stay out of the way of that fight. As Cody's yet to pit with Esposito still hot behind him, not letting him go. Fabrizio quite far behind. This is the moment now. We're going to stick on with Fusion, who will be coming around, and he's got himself in between Matheson and Schroeder. So the early pit has allowed Schroeder and Matheson to get back into the race, which is absolutely incredible. Driving from them to what insane pace to manage to come back. And as Fusion slips out a bit, and now we can find ourselves in a huge fight for P2, as Pookie, he's already out. So the overcut has allowed Pookie to take the net P2, and by a pretty strong margin of maybe around wait, let's have a quick second. Was it 7 seconds? And so this is exactly what I meant earlier when we were talking about Pookie being a bit of a dark horse, and the strategy always being on point, the racing being on point, the pace is always on point. This is exactly what I meant, and he has found himself, and what I think is a net P2. I'm just gonna have a quick look at basic here and just see. No, it's not net P2 because Jordan Lake is behind, and Gregic have both pitted, and Varga is just ahead of them. So actually, Jordan Lake is the net P2, and this race has just took an absolute turn because Slowick, Fabrizio, Cody's coming to pit now, and FSD all need to pit. So yeah, so from P6 onwards, this is your net first, second, and third currently. And what an absolute changeover that was. As Gresic is now fighting Jordan for this position, which is yeah, net P2, I think. Yeah, I think it is. And again, like what the pit stop strategies are so key and so vital to this. Like, you know, I never would have thought the likes of Jordan Lake just being in P2 all of a sudden. But here we are. As the positions start to slowly form back into the correct position. As I'm just waiting for Esposito to pit, which I think might be one of the last ones to pit on track at the moment. As Brains has been a blue flag, just gets out of the way for the racing of Troida and that, and Fusion and Matheson. And I wonder now, Polymeni. So no, so the pit stops have changed this race drastically to a point now where I didn't even know who was where. So M's still got his pit. Jordan Lake's in net P2. He's got Gresic giving him all the pressure behind in the McLaren. Just has to hold on. Pookie behind them. Cody. Followed by Polymeni. Followed by Schroeder. Followed by Fusion. Followed by Matheson. And so this is yeah, this was a definite like drastic turn of events here, because I honestly thought it was the other way around. Damn. What a race. Who'd have thought? Be really tricky to not switch your tyres though. Can't imagine wanting to go around here on the same tyres for that long, although the advantage would be quite massive. I'd probably prefer to always switch my tyres over, but I mean, if it goes into your favour, then hey, more power to you. As Martin Varga's gap now to Gresic is 23 seconds. So Varga has had everything absolutely on point, as Gresic has actually managed to steal P2 from Jordan, but Jordan will now be in the slipstream. And will it be enough for the Ferrari to take the slipstream from the McLaren? And it looks as if it might be, as they go side by side. But the speed of the Ferrari, and I think he just edges ahead the Ferrari's pace as Jordan just covers off a different line there. As they fly through the fast riders, Pookie's just creeping up behind these two for that podium position. And the more fighting these two do, the more Pookie slowly creeps in. As you have a little bit of argy-bargy, it looks it's getting a bit dangerous. It's all well going a bit door to door, but when you go tyre to tyre like that, from your front to the back, that can cause all sorts of problems. And you don't want a penalty right now, at least not for the type of race that you're having. But as we say, as we're talking about Pookie just drawing ever closer, you can see it happening live. He's flashing, he's letting them know, I'm coming, I'm on my way. And he doesn't mess around, Pookie. As honestly, if I had to put my bets on anything, I'd put my bets on Pookie taking this P2. this fight here. Absolutely insane. They're not giving each other an inch as he takes a different line to go on the inside. Oh, what a move that would have been, but I think Blake just gets the better exit. And he does, and he manages to stick inside, and Grishik is trying almost 50 different lines you can take to get P2 as Van Bunker closes the distance, and now he's in slingshot range, and that Bentley can move on a straight. That's the least car you want behind you on this straight. It's built for these. Look as it just left Grishik standing like a sitting duck, but then Jordan looks as if he's been caught, and this might be 3 wide into this fast right. Oh, Pookie looks to squeeze, but he's not budging. 2 wide, Pookie sits behind. The old switcheroo, will he take a different line? Gresham doesn't give him the opportunity, does he? Oh, a little bit of a tap there at the back. Puts Van Bunker there. Gresham looking to squeeze a little bit, but you're not going to squeeze that Bentley anywhere. It's too big and too juicy to get past. As the switcheroo's on for Gresham, but Bunker manages to get enough grip on the exit to hold that off. And he just slots his car just in front, and this is tight. Gresham looks to take a left over line, he can't take it. Bunker closes that off as he takes P3, and this has allowed Jordan to make a gap now. And he's loving it. What an opportunity it is for Jordan Lake to just separate himself from P3 and give himself a bit of breathing room. But that will not stop the charge of Pookie as he completes that move now officially. And he's not going to allow Gresham to even have a sniff on the inside there as he breaks perfectly into turn 1. And now the charge on Pookie to Jordan Lake is on as Esposito comes out the pits. And everybody moves up the field by just 1 as Cody goes to P5, P6, Polomenis, P7, Fusion. Schroeder sits behind Matheson. They're now into P9, and these guys were all close to one another at one point. But now look at this little train beginning to form just ahead of us, and we find ourselves into a nice little big race here for P5. As well, between some of the people that usually win races on a weekly basis. And you know, all the excitement, we've actually only got 17 minutes left of the race, so this part of the race has gone from 40 minutes to 17 minutes extremely fast. I've actually thoroughly enjoyed commentating and watching this race. It's been great. I'll give a shout out to everyone in this race. What a race you guys have had. It's actually been extremely entertaining. I didn't think Paul Ricard could provide such an entertaining race, but here we are. And we're talking about entertaining. Grivik is still hanging on the back of Van Bunker as Jordan Lake's 1.5 has dropped down now to a second. So Pookie's pace is there. He's just got to keep going lap by lap, and before you know it, he'll be just behind Jordan Lake to potentially make a move. Hey man, I don't think Indianapolis was that bad. I don't think it was that bad. Although I've not drove Indianapolis yet. I'm going to buy it this payday. I don't think I've got it. I'm going to go buy that. Yeah, I think I will give that a whirl. I've never really properly drove it, to be honest. Paid at it. Hey, listen, man. I don't get paid. I do this for free. Pookie improving on his time, as he is much quicker than Jordan Lake. Jordan Lake managed to do 155.4 last lap. Pookie did a 154.9. So it's there. The straight line speed with the slipstream is absolutely ridiculous as Pookie looks on the inside, and this might be P2. And he just slots in front and puts that big Bentley right in front. And now Jordan will have to look at that awful livery for the next few laps as Pookie looks to separate himself from these two and run away with P2. And I think with the pace that he has, it's definitely possible. This has been Pookie's race from the absolute start. What a drive from Pookie, who would arguably, if we're 15 minutes out, this Pookie would be my driver of the day. But this would be my driver of the day right now. If I, Varga, obviously, absolutely amazing, 30-second lead, absolutely incredible. But if we're talking from the position they started in, the strategy, the overtakes, I'm choosing Pookie all the way. I'm choosing Pookie. May call me biased, but yeah, best not to forget that Varga is 30 seconds ahead, and like we said, 12 minutes. Oh no, it wasn't even 12. It was 8 minutes into this race. It's ultimately Varga's to absolutely lose. As Greg and Lake go back and forth, and I just want to see what happened there. Greg gets the better exit. Jordan on the outside of this corner looks to hang it. Yeah, oh, what an overtake that was. Yeah, it's good stuff by Greg. As now he takes P3 from Jordan Lake, but we are coming up to the straight, and you can just see Pookie blowing off into the distance as Jordan tries to get the slipstream. He's quick enough. The McLaren is just simply not fast enough on the straights as they go side by side. And Jordan should slot into P3 comfortably again there. Unless Greg looks to take it. He looks to chance it, but he doesn't do it. I think it's a little bit of a fake out. A different line taken. And these two are just so close. Lap after lap, they're so close. Jordan Lake goes a bit wide on the inside. And I think... I couldn't tell if he made the space for him. Or if he made a mistake and it's allowed Greg to take the position back. Driver of the day. Pookie, Murder Fusion, driver of the day. Yeah. Hey man, at least we can agree on that. Good look at Fusion now in P6. P6. As Schroeder and Matheson. Obviously with the damage they got earlier and the switch, they've just not managed to capture the pace of the guys in front. I think they probably didn't take into account how fast the top 8 were in this race. And now you can probably imagine those tyres slightly wearing off, and the pace would have definitely dropped, especially with them fighting early on their outlaps. So this is now basically the strategy has not worked for him. I mean, they probably did have damage, and they were probably forced to do what they had to do, but yeah, it's definitely not played into their favour. As they are in P9 and P8. And Fusion escaping them from earlier, and he's at P6, and he looks to tackle Cody now for P5s. He draws ever closer to that P5 position, but if the Lexus is going to be challenged by anybody on these straights, it will be that Nissan. But we say that, look at that Lexus going to slipstream, Jesus! He's gone down from 6 tenths. As soon as he managed to get into that slipstream, 4 tenths was gained. And you see the slap there on the back end as he gets into a bit of dirt, yeah? Someone goes absolutely flying off the track, and that is Paul Ricard, who's now allowed Troida to just get so close. Now he's under pressure of his P7. And I wonder how he can flying off the track there. Can I see the hood? I wonder. Oh, the hood. Just wondering what Fusion hit in the comments. Yeah, if I keep on basic now, we'll see next time it goes round. I'll keep on basic. And you'll see how fast he goes down that. And we'll compare that with Cody. Because that GTI is supposed to be a bit of a demon on the straights. But that Lexus, just absolutely ridiculous. Any bets on free? I mean, it was ridiculous, right? Like how much is that in miles per hour? Right, we're gonna come up to that straight in a second. I'm intrigued.
Pit window is now closed.
And that will be the pit window closed now. Alright, here we go. Fusion down the straight. You got him doing about 230. Code looking to cap around 250. Fusion's already going faster down the straight. He gets into the slipstream. He goes into 280 kilometers an hour as Cody is sitting at around 270. He keeps going fast. He's nearly hitting 290. And he takes that position from Cody now. Can he hang it in there? He does as Cody goes flying up to try and keep the pace. And that's allowed Fusion into P5. And that was some ridiculous pace. 287 kilometers an hour. Which, let me... I just want to have a quick look. I wonder if this will pop up here. It doesn't. Fantastic. So what did he go? 287, right? Fusion's Lexus was going 178 miles per hour down that straight. 178 miles per hour. Absolutely insane. And no wonder now on these straights you just see Fusion absolutely blowing off as he smashes into P5 and absolutely snatches it from a defenseless Cody. You could do nothing but just watch it happen, unfortunately. As we have a drive-through for number 78, who is who? No! Paul Ricard had such a good race and he's found himself with a drive-through, and I can't help but feel it was due to corner cuts, and eventually it's just a... And that is a shame for Paul Ricard, who has disconnected from the race. Albeit probably in anger, which I can't be mad at him for. Varga, still 30 seconds ahead. Absolute cruise. Insane race on Varga. Just the disparity in pace today has been short massive as he dominates this race. As now we have Penning's P14 followed by LaRocca. M's just sitting behind him. He's in P16. I'm just gonna have a look at a few of the bat boys here. Jabba, Bellini, Tillman, Brain, Big 6. He's gonna say he finished the race from the pits. I don't think this one counts, to be honest. 6. And usually we talk about the gaps forming within the first 20 minutes of a race, but they've only really formed now towards the end of Paul Ricard. And you know, we talk about the straight being quite boring in terms of GT3 racing, but in fact this straight has actually produced probably the most exciting race we've had this season so far. So from a commentator's perspective, or reviewer's perspective, this has actually been probably the funnest race to commentate so far, which is kind of crazy, to be honest. But you'd have thought, You'd have thought. Pookie, P2. Coming to about 4-second gap now, and Grezcik behind. As Lake. Unfortunately looks to miss out on podium. With 5 minutes left to go. And Fusion is on an absolute charge. I think that gap was 5.5 seconds earlier when he made that overtake on Cody, and he can see him in the distance. I don't think that's entirely out of the question, to be honest. With the speed of that Lexus on them straights, it is 100% possible that Fusion might be able to make an attempt on Jordan if P4. We'll get back to that, and hopefully that is something that we get to see. And as Cody now slips away from Fusion, and by slips away I mean Fusion slips away from Cody. And Schroeder and Matheson find themselves stuck together by the hip all race, whether it be the front, the back, or the midfield. They cannot escape the fate of being stuck to one another as Esposito just sits behind Sailovic will be P10, Fabrizio Hackinson P12, Schlowig P13, LaRocca having to hold his position against Pennings, and I think he takes that from him. He does. LaRocca takes that on that straight, and we said the other fast car down here would be the Mustang, and there you see it now as LaRocca comes round and just snatches that from Pennings as M just gets a little bit squirrely in the back there. It's got a nice little... Oh, I think this is the livery I downloaded earlier for him. It's actually a very nice livery. Red Bull McLaren. There's something doesn't seem right about that. Sherlock in P17. And City just sitting behind him. Rizov 19. Jabba still going. P20. Bellini quite far behind Jabba in P21. Tillman P22. And Brains all the way back in 24th. It's unfortunately for Brains last on track. So he's probably had a bit of a boring race. Probably not too happy with that as Varga looks to overtake these two blue flags who are also fighting for position. And this is where it gets dicey. When you come across blue flags that are fighting for a position against one another, it gets a bit scary. None of them want to cough up the position too easily. Nobody wants to let the other one through. I think personally you'll want to let them do it on the straight. Or maybe probably best to do it now, wouldn't you? Oh, you could just see where it is. Look, say he just doesn't want to hand that over because he's so close. And 296 gets a drive through, which is Pennings. That's unfortunate for Pennings. He was fighting the Rocket there as he does lose out to M now, and he probably loses a few more positions as Schlowig gets a bit out of bounds there. So he's still alive, yeah. Not sure how, but he is. Usually don't get this far. Oh my god. Sure, going side by side. This allows City to have a look in. So he does look in. He can't quite make it stick. Sherlock's holding it off. As he takes... Oh, M, sorry, takes LaRocca to the position that he earned earlier. Has been taken on him from the charge of M. As we are now looking at what might be the last lap of this race. And we were talking about that opportunity that Fusion might have on Jordan, and it's only 1.6 seconds. He'll have to push extremely hard now to close that gap down. He needs to do everything he can for that potential P4. And I wonder if Fusion has it in him to close that gap. John Lake will be sweating now because he knows of everybody. That thing on the straight is an absolute demon. And this is where you're going to see that distance be closed up a little bit probably now down the straight. Or is it in the corners? As Matheson goes into pit, which I think is a bit of a weird choice now. Oh, he had a drive-through. He had a drive-through. Matheson got a drive-through. Oh, no. Oh, Matheson, no. And before... Straight, where we at, Varg? Where we at? Right. We got time. I just want to see it. He's closed it down to 1 second. Will he be able to do it on the straight? He gets anywhere close to that slipstream, the pace difference will be absolutely staggering. I don't know why I've got that one. I've got a map right in front of him. Can he do it? No, I don't think it's in him. As Varga comes around the last 2 corners to take race 5 here at Paul Ricard. He has a little wiggle. I think that was intentional. And there's our race winner, Varga, by a whopping 27 seconds. What an easy win that was for Varga. As Fusion gets so close to Jordan, but it's just probably not enough now to take that. There's that bunker. Comes around. Driver flashes. And here comes the dark horse. My driver of the day, Pookie. A little bit of a bar there to P2. Gredic will be coming into P3. P4, and he had one more lap and he might have lost that, but he managed to hold out Jordan Lake to P4. Fusion into P5. Cody comes across the line in P6. Schroeder will take P7. Esposito caught behind in P8. Sailovich will be sailing into P9. And to round off the top 10, Fabrizio. Well, there we go, guys. What a race. Honestly, what an actual race. That was absolutely fantastic. I personally enjoyed that one. It was all super close. Great strategies, different strategies as well, which makes it always exciting. I can just see the last few people just close out their laps. Just pop in there. The Schleich comes over the line. M comes over the line. And the Rock will come over now. Followed by Penix. And I say thank you guys for turning up. I was... Ooh. What a race, eh? Yeah, that was race 5 of Paul Ricard. Won by Varga. Staggering 27 seconds. It was a bit... Yeah, see you later. Maybe see you next week, Tyan, if you're back in again. Appreciate you turning up. Ciao, buddy. Yeah, so if you enjoyed that, you know, you can always join the Discord. Always here. Join the stream, which is usually weekly, unless something turns up or something happens. So I will switch over. Let me just... Right, so Paul Ricard this week, it should be Brands Hatch or Red Bull Ring. I remember there being a switchover or something along the other way, I can't remember. However, it's either Brands Hatch or Red Bull Ring next week. So for those of you that did turn up to watch, I appreciate it. If you're not part of Discord, join the race, join the community. We don't only just do ACC, we're going to be doing F1, we're going to be doing LMU probably in the future. We'll figure out the kinks and stuff of that. As a community, we play all different types of games together, well, that aren't just racing games. So if you're here predominantly for racing, that's awesome. If you were to come here and you weren't a racer on the day, well, guess what, we play other games as well. So yeah, I'll see you all hopefully next week. I should be here, I might not be, we'll see, but if I am, I'll see you then. Take care, guys, and ciao.